NBC News Capitol Hill reporter Julie Tsirkin and end the new year.
Yeah, Lindsay, they're working on a couple of different threads, and quickly after they get back in the new year, they have a lot of scheduled depositions from witnesses they subpoenaed this year that they have to do in the next couple of weeks, and that includes, of course, Bernie Kerik, who's the New York Police Commissioner, the former commissioner, who then worked with Rudy Giuliani to try to discredit the 2020 election. That's coming up in mid-January. They also, like you mentioned, are waiting to hear back from Jim Jordan, Republican lawmakers and ex-Trump allies who the committee wants to hear from voluntarily. Jim Jordan, of course, slamming the investigation, but saying that they're still considering the letter. Now, you also have a couple of lawsuits the committee is dealing with from Alex Jones, Michael Flynn, even the former president himself, who, by the way, also appealed to the Supreme Court to try to get them to
know about President for the filibuster, but he would still need Manchin and Sinema on board, and neither of them want to do that.
Yeah, and that was a big statement from the president, of course, perhaps appealing to Senator Joe Manchin, who he called a friend for a long time now. But we know before the Congress left they started to focus on voting rights, shifting gears away from Build Back Better, perhaps thinking voting rights was more attainable. And we know that over the holiday break, Democrats were building up in the new year. You need all 50 Senate Democrats on board. Kyrsten Sinema and Senator Joe Manchin, like you mentioned, still want to move in a bipartisan way. And of course, as we stand now, we don't see 10 Republicans joining that effort.
All right, Julie.
What more are we learning about what was actually taking 3 hours?
Yeah, Alex, after conducting hundreds of interviews and poring over thousands of pages of documents, the committee appears to be closing in, per se, on whether there's a potential link between the former president and the riots that took place on that day. Now, the most time that they're looking at are those 3 hours that it took President Trump to essentially call off the rioters and tell his supporters, obtaining his financial records. Now, the committee wants to know whether Buttigieg helped fund some of those attendees, helped spread the word about these riots, about these rallies, I should say, that took place on that day, and it wasn't as organic as the administration was claiming it was. Now, some Democratic lawmakers are hoping that Democratic leadership actually take action and do quickly note that Majority Leader Schumer just this week vowed to put a rules change on the floor for a vote that would enable voting rights legislation to be passed by a simple majority with just Democratic votes. Of course, Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema still want to go toward a bipartisan approach, but it's hard to see how 10 Republicans join their effort.
I know. I mean, it's really hard to see. That's why I keep asking the question, as I know you do as well, of lawmakers.